I was contacted by a scammer working in a call center in India, and he wanted to protect vulnerable people from losing their life savings. He's seen firsthand how scammers make off with over $150 million a year and decided it was time to do something about it. Let's just call him Agent X. Now, I was all for saving people, but I wasn't sure how Agent X was going to help because, like most scam call centers, you're not allowed to use your phones at work or even check your email. He wouldn't be able to contact me while he was inside. But he could do what he makes his victims do every day and give me access to his computer via remote access software. Because if I have access to his computer, I can see what he sees. And if he were to type something or write a note on his screen, I would see it. And as calls came in, I could step in and I could save the victims. But Agent X wasn't interested in scamming people. He was interested in saving people, which means I would somehow need to get access to one of his coworkers' computers, who definitely would be scamming. And in order to access another scammer's computer, I needed to call up a new friend of mine, and that's Ray from ModderPaul Scambaits. Ray has over 30 years of tech and cybersecurity experience, and he's made it his mission to use the skills that he's developed to put a stop to scamming.
I'm largely into technical support, so I deal with a lot of help desk type calls, which fits me in perfectly for my role as a scam baiter, because I know what it's like being on both sides of the phone call. And so I can take that info and turn the tables against them.
So Ray and I asked Agent X if there was any way that he could sneak over to his coworker's computer and get his AnyDesk ID, because if Ray had that, he could take control of the scammer's computer and work his magic, which would allow us to have permanent access and possibly intercept some scams.
I've come across numerous Windows security exploits that make it possible, but in a nutshell, I found a way to cause software to secretly boot up without the scammer knowing, that allows us to have access to their systems.
The only problem is that the scammer would notice Ray making changes to his system, so Ray could only do it when the scammer was away from his desk. So Agent X got us the AnyDesk ID, but somehow he needed to communicate to us when it was safe for Ray to take control. So I came up with an idea. We'd have Agent X create a new folder on his desktop. Remember, we can see everything on this desktop? Agent X would then drag the folder to the bottom right corner of his screen. That would mean that his coworker is at his desk. But if he gets up to go to the bathroom, X would move the folder to the top right, signaling that the coast was clear. So we watch this folder and Agent X types a quick note to give us a time when the coworker will go on break. Soon enough, X gives us the signal and Ray takes control. Ray only has a short window to do his thing, so he has to move fast. And it's a success. We now have access to 2 computers in this call center, Agent X and his coworker. And now we can watch as calls come in from the victims and the scammer has no idea that we're watching. And sometimes you can watch these scammers for hours before you see some action. And it can be boring. You'll see them watch YouTube or check crypto prices. But once they get someone calling in, we'd listen in.
Do you use the Microsoft thing? Because you have called the Microsoft technical support.
And I can see that after they get the victim's name, they look them up on sites like thatsthem.com, where a lot of people's information is just sitting there for all to see. Scammers use this info to learn about the person's family or how much money they have. And this should scare the heck out of all of you. And that's why I gotta take a minute to tell you about my friends over at Incogni, the sponsors of today's video. The truth is that your personal information is being sold online without you even knowing about it. There are thousands of data brokers aggregating your personal info and selling it to unknown businesses to be used as they please. This often happens when you sign up for a newsletter or a loyalty card, and then all of a sudden your inbox starts to fill up with spam. Now, you have the right to request that these data brokers knock it off and delete what info they have about you and protect your privacy. But unfortunately, it would take you years to do it manually, so let Incogni do it for you. Their automated process works around the clock to reach out to data brokers on your behalf, requisition your personal data removal, and realign with their objections. And it's easy. Just create an account, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf, and relax and watch them work for you. This is a great way to protect your privacy online, and I hope that you'll try it out. And the first 100 people to visit my link below and use my code PleasantGreen when they sign up will get 20% off. So don't wait, get off these lists today. So again, watching scammers and looking for opportunities to intercept takes time. So we recruited Ray's colleague, Chappie Gray, because she knows how important it is to save victims.
I have also a technical background. I worked in high tech for 33 years. But what got me involved in this was I had a close childhood friend, and she wound up getting dementia in her 70s. And she was in an assisted living home by herself. And I went to bring her some flowers. And when I got there, she had taken her life 20 minutes prior. And as the police came and we looked at her cell phone and the notes that she left us, she had been scammed out of everything she had. And if you read the text from the scammers, it was just horrific because she told them that she had dementia. And when she told him that, it got worse. They really turned up the heat. They took every cent. She didn't know how she was going to stay in the assisted living she was in. She couldn't buy food. She couldn't buy medicine. And she wanted to go be with her husband, thinking that was the only way out.
Wow. And so now you feel like you want to find some kind of purpose in going after these scammers and making sure that doesn't happen to another person.
Absolutely. I wound up hearing people like Pierogi and Kit and Ray, and I realized that there was something I could do about it. And Ray and I teamed up. And when we teamed up, I took the role of working with the victims and stopping the scams in the middle of happening.
So soon enough, Chappie stumbles upon the scammers talking to a man that we'll call Albert.
You are connected with Microsoft. My name is Paul Steven, and just note down my employee ID as well, okay?
She can hear the scammers telling Albert that he's going to be contacted by his bank.
You'll be getting a call from your bank anytime, okay? And you have to wait for that call.
And if you saw my recent video, I explained that this isn't a real bank. It's another scammer in the same building pretending to be the bank, and they'll scare you into sending money.
And on the call, you have to explain them each and everything. Tell them that you were hacked. Your IP address, everything is hacked. Everything is compromised.
And usually these victims are so on edge after hearing that their computer has been hacked that they're not going to answer the phone for anyone.
I called about 30 times, and he was not answering. He was on the phone with the scammer who was not letting him hang up.
So eventually the call goes quiet because Albert is now on the phone with the other scammer who's pretending to be his bank. There's nothing more that we can do for this guy if he's not going to answer his phone. But that's when we see another call come in from a woman responding to the pop-up on her screen.
Thank you for calling technical support. How can I help you? Okay. Can you tell me, miss, what were you doing on your computer when your computer got locked up?
So the scammers try to get her to download the screen control software, which is easier said than done.
Just listen to me carefully. Have a look on your keyboard, okay, on the bottom left side of your keyboard. Do you see the control key there? CTRL key?
You can tell that this victim isn't exactly used to doing something like this.
CTRL.
But the scammer keeps trying.
No, listen to me. What you have to do, you need to press the Windows key only and then letter R, okay?
Eventually, he takes control of her screen and we see the pop-up that caused her to call in. And this leads him to feed her a bunch of bullcrap about the hackers in her computer.
Okay, then listen to me, miss. This is not a good sign. It means that it's a breach in your network, which means someone has tried to get into your network, someone has got into your computer as well.
And then all of a sudden, the scammer wrote on his notepad the woman's name and phone number. So I grabbed another 2 lines and started calling her constantly. And you could hear the woman say to the scammer, "Somebody's calling me."
Miss, you don't have to receive any outbound call right now, okay? Because as I have told you, your phone lines are already tampered.
I started dialing again, like nonstop, and she finally answered the phone.
So Chappie finally gets through to her and we can see that she finally hangs up.
I asked if she was talking to somebody pretending to be Microsoft. She was hook, line, and sinker. The scammer was talking to them, well. She is now well educated, and she told me if anybody ever calls her like that she will hang up the phone and call back herself.
So the woman has been saved, but hey, remember Albert who was talking to his bank? Well, now apparently he's on his way to the real bank.
Do it quickly because your bank will close after 1 hour. We only have 1 hour to do that, okay? Inform me when you reach the bank, okay? When you reach the parking lot, just inform me, okay?
The scammers have Google Maps pulled up showing how long it'll take him to get there from his house. Remember, they were able to find his address? We can also see that they've given him instructions to wire $32,000 to an offshore account in Hong Kong. So now we all have to blow up his phone to stop him. And if we can't get him to answer, we'll call the freaking bank.
Thank you for calling Marine Bank Customer Help Desk.
But miraculously, he picks up.
Everything they said to you is a lie. There are no hackers. None of that stuff is true. This is all a scam.
I'm here now with my banker.
You're at the bank right now?
Yes, I am.
You weren't going to send them money, were you? Was that what they wanted you to do? And the bank teller can hear me through the phone, explaining to him how the call center pretended to be the bank. And I told him you need to put the bank account on hold. And he and the banker say, I heard her.
And the scammers have no idea that we've finally gotten through, so we can hear them stewing and wondering about what's taking so long.
कॉल उसके वजह से डिलीट हो गया था, ठीक है? यार डर है बहनचोद वो बग देगा, अकाउंट डिटेल सब दे दी थी.
But the scammers are still on his computer and holding out hope that maybe he'll see them typing on his screen and give them another chance.
भाई यार बैंक के लिए निकल गया, बहनचोद इतने reconnecting Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, not happening, you losers. Must have been a tough day at the office to watch your sales fall apart. Oh, and Agent X got sick and had to leave work early. But he made sure to leave the building with the phone number of another woman who just called in. Hi, is this...
Yes?
Hi, my name is Ben. Are you talking to some folks right now claiming to be from Microsoft who say that there's something wrong with your computer?
A hack, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a lie. It's a scam. You haven't sent them any money, have you?
No, I haven't sent them any money, but they're trying to get money out of my account. I'm on the phone with my bank.
No, you're not.
And
Nope. Those are scammers. They're pretending to be from your bank so that you'll send them money, but they're not your bank. They're scammers.
yeah, and someone's trying to call me right now.
I bet they are. Yep. So I want you to block that number, okay? Block them and call back your real bank. They'll have a different story for sure.
When you save a victim in the middle of a scam, your adrenaline rush is unbelievable. Like you feel like you are running a marathon because at any time something can go bad. It's just a race, a race in time to get them to believe you and to stop.
My heart and mind goes out to the victims because there's really nothing a person can do in the United States or even in India or countries that matter. You go to your police, they tell you that they can't do anything because the actor is a foreign entity. Even in India, they'll say that they can't do anything to the scammer because the victims are a foreign entity. So it leaves you with this question, if law enforcement can't do it, could you imagine what it's like being in your 60s and you lose money and you go to the police and they can't help you? But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, a very friendly, very smart voice comes and helps you. So it's a sense of worth in being that you just can't get doing anything else. I think the role of a scam baiter is very admirable. It's not official in any way, shape, or form, but when done properly, we're effectively what people often call heroes without capes, and it's a distinction and a valor that I consider more valuable than gold, because in my waning years, I'll be able to leave this place knowing that I did something that was extraordinary and was out of the kindness of my heart, something that my mother brought me up to believe I should strive for.
So we'll continue to go after these scammers, but if you want more content like this right now, be sure to check out Modderpaul Scambaits on Twitch and YouTube and give him a subscribe. I hope that you do the same for me, and I hope that you warn your loved ones about tech support scams, and I hope that I will see you next time.